Hello, my viewers and subscribers. Welcome back to the channel, Jamaica News Review. So, in this video today, people, I'm gonna discuss Jamaica's national debt, the debt to GDP ratio, as well as why Mark Golding, leader of the opposition, would probably bankrupt Jamaica if elected. So, people, I'm gonna start off by giving a brief um, explanation of the debt to GDP ratio. So, the debt to GDP ratio determines an economy's financial leverage or its capacity to repay its debt by comparing a nation's debt to its gross domestic product, GDP. A nation with a high ratio would struggle to pay back its debt and wouldn't need debt from its lenders because the likelihood of default is higher. So that's a brief description of debt to GDP ratio. And I'm gonna also give a brief explanation as to why a low GDP ratio is good for our country. So this is was taken from Wikipedia. So it says debt to GDP measures the financial leverage of an economy. One of the euro convergence criteria was that government debt to GDP should be below 60%. Okay, so that is basically saying that a good debt to GDP ratio is below 60% of 60% of your gross domestic product, your GDP, compared to the debt. So the present government in Jamaica has been bringing down the debt, and they are projected to get it down to below 60% of GDP by 2027. And that is 1 year earlier than expected. Okay, people. So if you look on your screen now, I'm going to show you a chart and it shows Jamaica's national debt from 2018. Um, and it shows where it should be in 2028. So that's a 10-year span. So if we look at 2018, we see that it was 99%, um, our debt to GDP ratio was 99%. So in simple terms, I'm not an expert on this, but in simple terms, it's 90% of what the government is bringing in, and what 99% of what the country is producing, has to go back into debt management and debt repayment. So you can see in 2018 that was very high, 99%. In 2019 it came down to 94%. So it was a little bit lower than 2018. Um, in 2020 it went up all the way to 109.68% of GDP. Debt to GDP was 109.68%. So it was very, very high in 2020. But if you look some more on the chart, you will see that from 2021 it has been going down. It went down to 94.21% in 2021. It went down to 84.12% in 2022. This year it went down to 77.9%. And it is projected to go down to 52%, 52.6% um, in 2028. So that would put us in a much better position economically. We would have much more money to go around, much more money to reinvest in the country. Much more money to build hospitals, fix roads, fix up the infrastructure, provide more social benefits for the citizens of Jamaica, among other things. It would be very beneficial in general for the population of Jamaica. when the debt to GDP ratio goes down to 52.656% in 2028. Okay, people. So I'm gonna bring Mark Walling into this now. I went back to I saw him on the TV, kind of making a utterance, saying that the government is paying down the debt too fast and they should slow it down and reinvest back into the people of the country. So, I saw the same thing here in an article from March this year, but I'm just using it to make my point. It says Clark hits back at debt repayment criticism. So in this paper, we saw that Mark Golding was lashing out at the finance minister, basically, saying Mark Golding that the government said that the government is seeking to pay down Jamaica's debt faster than expected. All right. And in the paper, it goes on to say, Mark Golding goes on to say, goes on to say, how is it the government deploying the massive amount of additional taxes it is taking from the people? Instead of strengthening the safety net and investing heavily in the developmental needs of the people, they are intent on reducing the public debt at any even even faster rate than is required by the fiscal rules. And he goes on to say, it sounds good, but it is wise. Is it wise and prudent? Why accelerate and bring forward the repayment of debt when the society is under so much stress? Argued Golding. Um, and Clark, Finance Minister Clark went on to explain that. He went on to say, when I hear the opposition leader talking about paying down debt too fast, he doesn't get it. He has no ambition for Jamaica. Clark charged as he explained why Jamaica is aggressively seeking to lower public debt. And I have to say that I agree with Clark on this one. I mean, why on earth would you have an issue with that? Why would you, object to the government paying down the country's debt and, having more money at the end of the day to reinvest in the country, to build up the country, to fix up the infrastructure of the country, to reinvest in the people of the country? Why would you not want to slow that down and take that money and, pretty much just give it away willy nilly to everybody in the well, I'm not saying that people in the country are not feeling it. People in the country are feeling it, and it's a hard time. Um, the cost of living has gone up a lot, and the government could really do some things to help. They could really do a few things to really lessen the burden. But to come and say the government should slow down how fast they're paying off the debt, when that is the reason why the country, one of the reasons why the country is in this position. It's one of the reasons why the infrastructure in the country is falling apart. It's one of the reasons why we don't have any money to really fix anything and reinvest in the country, because most of it had to be going back to paying off debt. So this man want to come now and he wants the government to slow down how fast they're paying off the debt and pretty much just take the money now and give it away, like, and crash programs. And how is that really gonna improve the life of the people if you give a person a $5,000 today and or 10,000 today, within a few days them are gonna be back to square one. So why not pay off the debt, have more money, to really make meaningful changes in the country, build up schools and reinvest in the people, teach the people to provide for themselves, give them ways and means in which they can learn a skill and provide for themselves. We will be able to do that when we bring the debt down below 60% of GDP. Why would you stop that now and use the money to basically just waste it on crash programs, and that the end result will be you eat today, but for the rest of the time you're hungry again and you have no means of providing for yourself and the money already done. So that is the reason why I'm saying if this man is elected, he would he would not be good for Jamaica's economy. The sound, to the way it sounds to me, as it sounds as if he is planning to just, just spend the money, take the country's money and just spend it like without, real results, without getting real results. Just spend for spend's sake. And mind you, people, I'm not ruined for this government. I'm not supporting this government. I'm just making an observation. But the way I hear Mark Golding talking, I think it would be really bad for Jamaica. And mind people, the PMP have a history of spending the country's money on useless things and things that really don't benefit the country in the long run. They have a long history of coming up with these crash programs, bushing work, a little drain cleaning work, a little bushing work, a little road patching work, give a few people a couple dollars, and you know that's it. Country money done, and we don't really get any meaningful results, and the people basically in the same position. And there's a lot of corruption in this administration, but there was a lot in the PMP too. They had people on payrolls getting paid for doing absolutely nothing. Throughout the 90s and the 2000s, that was their MO. Just, put their party supporters in positions. They don't know how to do the work. They don't do any work and just waste the country's resources, just pay people for doing no work. And the way how this sound, it sounds like this man is trying to return Jamaica to that we are spending. And we've come a long way. We've come a very long way, in reducing our debt. We used to spend 47 cents of every dollar on the debt. Now it's down to 27 cents of every dollar that goes to the to debt repayment. And that's a significant improvement. And within the next 3 years, 3 to 4 years, it's supposed to go down even further. So when this man come and talk about, they should slow down the debt repayment and use that money to reinvest in the country. By reinvesting, what he really means is crash programs, as I said before. And that's only gonna help the people for a day or two, buy them a night's dinner or 2 night dinner, and they back right where they were. You know. And Jamaicans should really look into themselves and look into the situation and say this is really not sustainable for me. This is really not in my benefit. I need something long term. I need to learn long term skills. I need to learn to fish feeding me for one day or one night is only good in the short term. We need long term solutions. So that's the reason people I'm saying this man, leader of the opposition, Mark Golding, would potentially bankrupt Jamaica, and put us back into the massive debt cycle that we were in for many years, which was mainly the fault of the PMP. This government has made a lot of mistakes, but I have to commend them. They have really done a good job in bringing down the debt. They've done a lot of stupid things and made a lot of mistakes, but when it comes to the debt, the national debt, they've worked hard and they've brought it down. Many Jamaicans don't really understand what it means to have a low national debt. They don't really understand that. And they should really educate themselves on that and, come to the realization that a government spending money on crash programs is not really something that is good, and it's not something that is in your long term benefit. And if you really check it out, it's just something to get you excited and get you hyped up in the moment to go and vote for them. But after you get that night dinner or two night dinner, you're back to square one. So that's my observation, people. I think the government is on a good track by paying down the debt, and the more they pay off the debt, the more money we'll have to reinvest in the country and make meaningful changes. So those are my thoughts on the situation. People, just wanted to share that with you. I want to hear what you guys think. So be sure to like, share, and leave a comment and tell me how you feel about it. Tell me if you agree or you disagree. Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.